we'd like to talk about another Dutch player, this time at Liverpool right now, but for how much longer? Virgil van Dijk, his future in doubt right now at Liverpool. What's the word in the Netherlands on this whole situation?
The word in the Netherlands is that, you know, like he doesn't let a lot of loose, you understand, in the situation he is now. And I don't think Van Dijk doesn't give me the feeling that he's looking at somewhere else. I think, you know, the Saudi situation started to talk as well. That creeped up in Holland. But I still feel like he would like to at least one more season. I see him still at Liverpool. Why? Because he's a new coach. He's a Dutch coach. I don't think the Dutch coach would like him to move out. Why not? Because why would you let a very important player of you and also your captain, and he's Dutch, is a better understanding to keep him close to you and understand the culture of the club and the way the team wants to play than letting him go and being, try to figure out everything by yourself. So I don't see the coach trying to let him go. I think it just comes down to the club if they want to, you know, extend his deal, because he is the only one, I think, from the two, what is it, Salah they're talking to, and Arnold. Those are
Trent.
the three guys kind of like, you know, something has to happen.
Yeah, obviously no contract offer on the table right now. Virgil van Dijk's been talking about this when he's been asked about it this week. Are you worried about this situation, Stevie?
Yes and no. I think it's just a smart answer from Van Dijk, because he may not have had an offer, but I find it impossible to think that there hasn't been talks with his agent and the club with a year to go. I just don't believe that nothing's been said. Nobody's said anything. That is impossible to me. So as I said, I think it's a smart answer, because the agent's probably thrown an amount out and the club have went, okay, we'll think about it. That's different than not putting an offer in. He's just being clever. If I'm Van Dijk, I'm going to do exactly what it seems like he's going to do, and that is play out the rest of this year. I'm with Mario. He doesn't look as though he's desperate to go. He doesn't look unsettled. Yeah. I think he's just quite happily going to, you know, I'll play out the rest of the year, and then at the end of the season, I'll decide. Maybe I can go to Saudi and get a huge pay packet. Maybe I might get an offer from somewhere else. I'll get all the transfer fee. So I think Van Dijk is actually quite happy with the situation, because he's in pole position. He can decide his own future, and right now, it seems to me, he's going to play out this year, and then we'll see what happens this time next year.
I asked you earlier on the Vinny situation, is this a distraction, Virgil van Dijk's future for Liverpool this season? No,
not at all. The fact that he's going to be there will not affect anything at all.
It is a strange situation, isn't it, though, obviously?
It's incredibly odd. And I say that for a couple of reasons. Was it 2 or 3 years ago, we were talking about Mo Salah and Sadio Mane's contracts coming to an end at the same time. And I found that odd that a club like Liverpool, as well run, would allow two as important players as those two for their contracts to come within a year, and then all of a sudden they're scrambling to make the numbers work, and then roll the clock forward 2 or 3 years, and we have an additional body to that in Trent Alexander-Arnold and Virgil van Dijk, all coming to an end within a year. And now, if you want to keep them, and Van Dijk is past his 30s, as is Mo Salah, you're going to have to stump up an awful lot of cash for players who probably have gone past their best. As I say, they're closer to 35 than 30 for both of them. For Mo Salah, you kind of saw it coming because of the Saudi Arabia interest last time around, and you figured that's where his head may be, that's where this is going. But for Trent and Van Dijk, I find it really hard to believe that Liverpool have let those two players' contracts come within a year of ending. I'm sure talks are ongoing with both of them, but still,
But don't you think, Shaq, it's down to the players?
I'm sure it is, but
there's absolute. This is not going back to when we played, where if somebody came to you and said we want a new contract, you're like, wait, when can we meet tomorrow?
Right.
It's completely different.
He said in June, didn't he, that he was going to wait and see Virgil van Dijk. He said he was going to see.
I would think.
All the players have got all the power, because they don't need the money.
At 2.5 years left on a contract, the club are starting to say, hey, you know, Virgil, let's have a chat. You know, just as as a precursor, because you know what's coming, and you know from the time you hit 18 months in on to the end of that contract, probably 2 years in, the power starts to shift to the players because they know they can run it down. So start having those conversations. And that for me is what I find really odd. I've been very critical of Arsenal when that's happened to them in the past, and we've got more than enough example of that. And I just find it from Liverpool, given what we've seen, given what we know of them in terms of the running of that football club, that we're having this conversation yet again.